Hey blog friends. I wanted to follow up on Andy's Wordle video that he posted to kick off this channel. So I got my Wordle in 2 moves today, and it occurred to me that this is the best possible result, right? One is merely dumb luck, whereas if you get it in two, you feel like you've really got it. Even though, in my case at least today, it was still pretty much just dumb luck that I got it on that second move. So this leads me into what I've been thinking about as we begin this channel, which is the idea of expertise. What does it mean to be an expert? We're all certainly expected to be experts in our fields, and as people with PhDs and either current or former teachers, right? We build our careers on the idea that we are experts. Yet a few years ago, a friend asked how I would like to be seen or how I would like others to see me, and I said that I'd like to be seen as an expert on something, on anything. Uh, Now, this was deep in the demoralizing days of job market time, so my, response is perhaps colored by that. Uh, but I think the point still stands. And she was kind enough to point out that I am an expert on a variety of things, including recommending good theory, which is actually my field, so that's kind of cool. It's sort of my field. We'll get to that. And that I was an expert in wearing brightly colored sandals, and that is definitely true. I can rock an orange sandal. Uh, Not today, because it's 30 degrees in Atlanta, but, you know, in general, I can. Uh, so, what does it take to be an expert versus to feel like an expert? Certainly, Andy's video points to a series of connections and thoughts about Wordle that I never would have thought of, as he considers the cultural history of the internet. And I was thinking more along the lines of the expectations people have of you to be good at word games when you have a few degrees in English. And as a sidebar, there's definitely a video coming about the terror that people seem to experience when they find out that you are a college English teacher. But we'll get back to that. Am I good at word games? Yeah, sure, sometimes. But I'm not at 100% on Wordle. I have lost some, and I lose at Scrabble, just like anybody else. Many people sort of point out also that getting a PhD really only highlights how little they know about other things in the world, right? Uh, and I mean, I think this is true, right? I look around and I feel a bit like Jon Snow, that I know nothing about a lot of things. And I like having the depth of knowledge that I do have. I do know a lot about theory. I know a lot about the Holocaust. Sometimes I don't like the depth of knowledge that I have there. You can't unlearn some things once you've learned them. And, and non academic things, right? Like I'm maybe an expert at cooking, or at least cooking some kinds of things. Uh, but there's always more to learn. During the pandemic, I actually started cooking meat for the first time just because I wanted to learn something new, and was stuck in my house, like us all, right? Um, and I think what I'm talking about here is more than imposter syndrome as well, right? Imposter syndrome being that you feel like a phony, or that you're a fraud, or that you don't belong in the place where where you are, that you haven't earned that position in some way. And I very rarely feel like a fraud, right? And yet I almost always feel as though I've barely scratched the surface of things that I would like to know about. And what are things that I would like to know about, as I, sort of look forward to, the next month, the next 6 months, the next few years? I certainly want to know more about portals and portal fiction. I want to know more about weirdness. I want to know more about cryptids, or regional monsters. I want to explore eco horror. And I want to know more about feminist theory of science and technology. And that one, you know, I should, or I am currently presenting a strong front of expertise in that as I teach a grad class in it. But of course, I'm lacking so much knowledge. There's so many more things, and there are always more things to read and consume and think of. So, I mean, of course, this leads me to like, what even is my field of expertise, right? If I've just tossed out a ton of things that I know and don't know about. Um, my method of research, and, just sort of like project creation has always been, well, here's a weird thing. wonder what's going on with that. Let me think about that for a bit because it seems weird. Uh, so, here I am now poking around with weird things on the internet, thinking about, being part of a huge community ultimately of experts and amateurs of every stripe. And thinking about that, as well as just sort of the serendipity of reading Hank Green's Beautifully Foolish Endeavor, led me to this quote, which I think I'm going to finish on today. So one of the characters is putting together a video response. The book as a whole is sort of a meditation on being internet famous to one extent or another. Our main character, Andy, says, I handled the conundrum the usual way. I went and checked out some of my favorite internet thinkers. These people had no idea what a huge influence they were on me, but all of my ideas were just amalgams of the stuff that they were talking about. I tried to pull from a diverse group: Black women scientists, uh, Chinese business analysts, nuclear disarmament experts, and of course, YouTube video essayists. I hate watched people with massive audiences and terrible ideas that were nonetheless resonating with people, and I watched the smart ones who had all my same biases. This was the only way I could have the number of and quality of takes people expected of me. You watch 4 different videos, trying to keep all of them in your head at once. Then out flops an idea that looks and feels fresh and new. When I knew I was going to have to say something useful soon, I watched a lot of videos. This feels a little phony that my process works this way, like I'm an imposter who doesn't have any real ideas, but I'm pretty sure this is just how ideas work. So, I look forward to seeing your ideas on Tuesday, Thursday, next week. We'll just go with next week. Have a great day, friends.